So, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm assuming that you know that there's been a huge switch up on the UFC 303 card as Conor McGregor and Jamal Hill have both pulled out of their respective fights. So, for the past couple of days, Ariel Helwani's been putting out tweets saying, there's zero positivity for the UFC, that the fight's going to go ahead, etc. Some people were sort of like, I'll just wait for the official announcement, and some people were fully listening to Ariel. I mean, I made a couple of jokes on Twitter about Ariel's source trolling him, but, deep down, I knew that this fight was not going to go ahead. It's a Conor McGregor injury by the sounds of it.
You must understand, my foot was a balloon. Do you know what I mean? My toes came out of the socket.
And they're looking to reschedule the fight. Obviously, it is gutting. I don't think you can ever truly replace McGregor, but you can definitely try. And the UFC have done a pretty good job at it with UFC 303. First thing that needs to be said is massive respect to Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka. They both fought UFC 300. Yuri took more damage than Alex did, but still, Alex being asked to defend his title on 2 weeks' notice, that's very risky for any champion, and I reckon a lot of them wouldn't have done it, so you have to respect him. You've got to respect both men as well. Got to remember they stepped up and took the main event slot at UFC 295 when John Jones pulled out of his bout with Miocic as well. So yeah, massive props to both of them. It honestly feels like Alex Pereira has been carrying the UFC for the past 2 years, with what he's achieved, winning 2 belts in 2 different divisions, fighting so regularly. This will be his 3rd title fight in 7 months. That's exactly what you want out of your champion. And yeah, he's the UFC's most reliable man at the minute. As for the fight itself, at the minute, Alex Pereira feels pretty unstoppable to me. The aura that he carries around, like absolutely destroying Jamal Hill the way he did. Don't get me wrong, in the first fight, they both had their moments of success. Yuri had a very impressive win over Alexander Rakic, but early, I'm thinking Alex Pereira's going to get it done again, maybe even earlier than he did in the first fight. That being said, after UFC 300, Alex did come out and say that his feet are kind of fucked. He's got broken toes and everything. Now, I'm no injury expert. I don't know how long that's going to take to heal, but I just want to see the best version of him, really. The card also has a new co-main event, Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez in the featherweight division. Really fun scrap. Obviously, the card's original co-main event fell through when Jamal Hill pulled out of his fight against Carlos Ulberg. Jamal Hill's been replaced now, though, which I'll get into later. As for that fight, I'm not really sure how I think it's going to go down yet. I do favour Diego Lopez's striking over Ortega's, but I think we'll see some fun scrambles in the fight. And it's a bit up in the air at the minute, but I'll probably do an official prediction eventually. Anthony Smith also steps in to replace Jamal Hill and take on the dangerous Carlos Ulberg. Anthony Smith, another one that deserves respect for stepping up and taking a fight here. His last fight was just over a month ago, so huge respect. Taking on, as I've said, a very dangerous guy in Carlos Ulberg as well. Smith's probably feeling pretty confident at the minute, though. Just took another Prospects O in Vitor Petrino. Caught him with a guillotine in round 1, so he's probably got a lot of confidence at the minute as well, and wants to do what he did last month. Carlos Ulberg's on an insane win streak, though. 6 fights, 5 finishes. His last fight was about a month ago against Alonzo Menifield. Massive round 1 KO there, so I'm excited to see how his career goes and progresses. He is coming up against the Anthony Smith test, which a few have passed with flying colours, but also he's stopped a few in their tracks as well, so this will be a good one. Just looking through the full card now, and it's still got some very fun fights on there. We've got Peyton Talbot, got Ricky Simone on there, Ian Gary against MVP, obviously. Joe Pyfer's there. So yeah, a lot of people were slating the pay-per-view when McGregor was still on there, but we know that they don't really usually stack McGregor cards as they rely on him as the lone man, but the UFC matchmakers have been tested on short notice and they've cooked something good up, so respect.